All right. Welcome to another Monday Night Eden Open podcast. Mr. Mark Shear will hopefully put this up on his YouTube in short order so people can watch this. But we do have a new potential Eden member who's curious and reached out and wanted to get to know us and introduce himself, Tadas Cobb, who's with Crypto Lions. So Tadas was just telling us a bit about his background, and he was just about to tell us how he heard about Eden. And I'm like, we should record this so we can hear how an example of how new people hear about this. And of course, we got John Williamson on. He's a regular, an OG in the Eden space. He was like the third guy to get in after it was opened up from the Genesis group. But anyway, Tadas, go ahead. How'd you hear about Eden?
So actually, I read a book of Dan Larimer, More Equal Animals. And I like the book. It's quite, well, I can say different things about it, but I mean, it's a nice book for me. And then I also had something about Eden, like I saw something on YouTube, I guess, even before I read the book. But to be honest, I still don't get into it like completely. So that's why I'm going to like join, or how to call it, to be able to know it in more depth, Currently, as far as I understand, it's related to a book, and it's also a way for people to, with this new democratic way, to choose some representatives or to choose some projects that can be funded. So it's kind of community-related work.
Yeah, that's you've nailed it exactly. Well, that's interesting. So you found the book and it's brought you here. Basically, like the method outlined in More Equal Animals is what Eden on Eos is using to select representatives and eventually distribute, hopefully, some reasonable funding to be put to work in the ecosystem towards Eos. So we've had a couple trial elections. Have you seen any of the trial election videos, or did you know about it at that time?
The first one I saw like more than a month ago, and then I'm not saw more yet, but I was planning to see it, but not yet. So
yeah, okay. Well, it's not overly exciting watching. I mean, maybe the last round is interesting to watch, but anyway, it gives you an idea of sort of what it's about when people are in a room and they're sort of discussing their ideas and trying to come to consensus. There's a reality TV feel to it. It's sort of unscripted, real people talking, unlike reality TV that isn't actually real anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's must be interesting.
Do you have any project? Like, would you enter? Are you looking to join Eden so you can participate as a person looking for funding, like to move up, or just more interested in participating in general?
Well, I'm not sure yet. Definitely in general would be interesting for me, but about project, maybe I can think about something.
You're a builder, so yeah, I'm sure you'd eventually have some ideas that might work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's awesome. I'm sure we can get you in. This is and anybody and so you're with Crypto Lions. Is Eden come up amongst your group? Is this something that was ever sort of discussed or talked about?
Yeah, but we have not like decided our common vision yet, I guess. I mean, we had some talks, but not so in depth yet. So I'm not sure about the general vision on Eden from Crypto Lions. But from my personal perspective, it looks quite interesting. So I would like to join, to know more about it and so on. And about Crypto Lions, I'm still, only a few months, so I'm not sure if I know everything, and we have not like detailed talk on this yet.
Yeah, well, and in all fairness, it's Eden is a group of people and it, regardless of who those people, where they work or who they're affiliated with, it doesn't really change anything really. It's more about the person, and it's great to have people who work with EOS block producers or at EOS block producers, because certainly this is something that we'd like to have BP buy-in, quote unquote, but that's not a requirement by any stretch. So that's good. I think it's positive. More importantly to the Crypto Lions group would be the EOS Foundation, since that actually requires IMSIG approval. Not that I guess Crypto Lions isn't quite up in the top 21, but still a more relevant topic, I suppose.
Yeah.
Did you see that note from Eve? John, I don't know if you follow Teres, if you follow the Telegram stuff too much, but Eve put up a note earlier this afternoon about him creating a response to some of the questions about the EOS Foundation.
Yeah, yeah, it looks interesting. A lot of good questions in there. So I'll be keen to see what he comes up with. Does it say? So again, is the idea that EOS Foundation and Eden on EOS will run in conjunction, like permanently, or is EOS Foundation only meant to run for several months and then it decommissions, or is EOS Foundation going to be around forever?
Yeah, good question. Hey Eddie. So the only thing we know is from basically Eve's blog post and Dan's blog post. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, that's all we know. I'm sure you read them both. So it sounds like Dan indicated he would support this so long as, I think was the term, the foundation supports Eden. And did he say the term transition to, I have to read what he wrote, but that's all we know anyway. And that's just from Dan. So it's not a commitment from Eve per se or the foundation. Yeah, there's a few unknowns in there. Hopefully, I think they could work together. Like Eve did say once in Telegram that the foundation could fund Edens, plural. So, which that kind of makes sense, right? Because it would be kind of awkward for the block producers if they start to individually fund individual Edens on EOS, the Korean, the Chinese, the Spanish, the German. That's a lot of kind of like who's coordinating that from the block producers perspective, because they don't, from what I gather, they're not overly coordinated except for making blocks. So they're coordinated as far as the smart contracts go, but anything else that involves communication, I'm not sure how solid that is. So maybe the foundation is a necessary thing to have, just to be this intermediary between inflation and block producers and any sort of sub group, or in this case Eden.
Yeah, I don't know, my fear is that I think we do need an EOS Foundation again to get the ball rolling. Someone has to create a foundation, but yeah, my fear is that Eden on EOS is just gonna we're gonna kick the can on that, and there's gonna be too many things to do for EOS Foundation that there's not a lot, not enough time to spend on EOS, and that power is never really going to be sort of transferred over, and Eden on EOS will just become something on the wish list sort of thing. So yeah.
Well, hopefully they fund it. I mean, as long as Eden on EOS gets funding, I don't think we can really complain. What I think would be interesting is then how is power distributed or selected amongst the foundation?
Yeah.
Right. So maybe you don't have, you just take the Eden method and you apply it to people working at the foundation. And so instead of Eve being in charge indefinitely, because he's not, maybe this, EOS is going to last for 20 years. Let's say we've got a real long runway on this. We're not, no one's giving up anytime soon in any crypto. So say EOS is going to be around 20 years from now. People are going to come and go from positions of power. So then it begs the question, how do you select replacements? So maybe in that respect, the Eden process could be applied to the foundation. I think that's a reasonable twist.
Yeah. I'm just checking Eve's
His post,
Twitter.
Yeah. So Taras, it's apparently the first official election last we heard would be sometime in September.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know for sure. Both previous trial elections were funded by Dan. He put up the prize for both of them, and they were both done very manually. So it was a very manual Zoom breakout room randomization process. But the next election will be using basically on-chain from the Eden OS. The Clarion team has been working on a lot of stuff. So I don't know. Are you familiar with Clarion, Dan's other project?
No.
No, it's like a decentralized communication platform, I guess. I don't know. Is that what you'd call it, John?
Yeah, sort of decentralized social media where it sort of doesn't, use your traditional centralized service. So essentially, if I download, Chris's posts on my computer, I can, and then you want to, Taras wants to, see Chris's content. That content can come from my phone instead, and so I can share Chris's content with Taras's phone in a more decentralized manner rather than just one central party that says what can be online and what can't, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's the Clarion team. So the guys working on that are funded by Dan. So it's Dan's sort of other project. It's not really a blockchain per se. There's no tokens per se. It's nothing like EOS. But that team is, before they're really digging in hard into Clarion, they're building the smart contract around for Eden on EOS. So there'll be an actual, so right now, for example, all the members, you have an NFT that's minted on EOS. So there is some tie in the treasury for Eden it's an EOS account. So future elections will be through the app, a web app basically, and you'll be able to sign, you'll log in, you'll signal whether you want to participate in an election or not through the app. And it's like your membership portal essentially through your EOS account. And then the same thing, you'll sign in or you'll opt into an election. Then during an election, you'll actually see through the app where your Zoom link is. So it pre-randomizes everybody using Bitcoin headers, Bitcoin block headers. That's the source of randomization. And then, so the app like organizes you into your room. You can vote in the app. You can see how people, because as you're discussing, it's like a 50-minute phone call, 4 to 6 people on the Zoom, and you trying to convince each other to pick one person to move on to the next round. So as you're discussing, you can vote on your app, and then you can see where other people have voted basically, and you can see who's in the lead and if you have consensus or not. So to really streamline the whole, because up to now it's been a Google Doc or a Telegram channel, and you type in who you're voting for, and very manual. So this will be a huge improvement on just automating the process, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, sounds very good.
When are we gonna utilize it? Is there another scheduled date for a real Eden election?
The next update from the Clarion team will be tomorrow. Lovejoy's on right now, so I think it's Fancher's up. Yeah, it'll be Brendan Fancher. Either myself or Lovejoy will interview him and get an update. But the last update for timing was from Dan over a month ago, or about a month ago actually. When he did the fireside chat with the winners of the last trial election, he suggested that the first official election could be sometime in September. And it was dependent upon this smart contract code getting basically finished up. So I'd expect there to be some sort of trial of that code, maybe like a jungle testnet trial or some sort of like that. Maybe they'll get a few dozen people who are willing just to try it out and play with the voting and make sure it all goes through. That hasn't been set up yet, so I don't know. In time, I expect that would have to happen first before we do the next official. But even that, does funding need to be there first? Like, are we waiting for substantial funding before we have an official election? So probably. So there's still a few things to fall into place, I think, before we can nail down a date.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll check out the code and see where they're at. Be good to play around with it at least. Maybe see some screenshots and stuff.
Did you not see the video of it?
Oh no, is there a video? I missed it.
I'll send you a link right now. I'll put it in the chat here. Yeah, it was Brandon totally did a great trial of it. I think it's this one here. Yeah, you brought it up on the screen and showed how the consensometer, which is like a go to like around the 50-minute mark, I believe is when he shows it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was watching this and then I got distracted.
Yeah, go to the 50. You probably missed it because he was later on. If you go to about 50 minutes on that, he gets into showing exactly how it's going to work, which is. I mean, we could probably screen share it right here. Screen share it, show it to us. You can. Ted Assa probably hasn't seen it either.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Let me know if you can't screen share. Make you the host. Hey, Jesse.
Hey, everyone.
You guys can see that?
Yep. And we're about, yeah, go to like the 50-minute mark. It's right when he starts. There you go.
Maybe it'll inspire a little bit, but let's actually take this into our.
So that's basically the interface right there, like the Eden you would on the top right is when you signed in. So he signed in as Egon the Great right now, and now he's got it on a mobile phone view.
This is real UI. Not all of it is hooked up yet, but you can see here how we're in a election, right? And there's a community room up here. You could join the community meeting if you wanted to. And you're in round two. Round two is ongoing. And I should have set up my little timer. It's really cool.
He spends a little bit here to put up his pi timer. It must be a new thing. So and then
Yeah, I saw this. I really like this the UI on this.
Slick, eh?
Simple, looks super easy. Yeah.
And this is the whole, like, in terms of your membership, when you, for new members, like Tadas, when we induct you, this is essentially the home community membership bit. That's consistent across all the different functions.
Cool.
Yeah, look nice.
Oh, there's a timer. Yeah.
So he's trying to get the timer with the pie chart, and then he'll show us some more. So let's just give him a sec here to get it going. I went blank now, though. There we go. He's trying to make it so the vote timer. See, because before that was one of the questions is, when's this? How much time do we have left? No one really knew. So he's trying to get the pie chart to look right. That little gray dot beside vote timer is supposed to have a sliver. Downside of live recording. We're like, what time is it UTC? And there's Lenny. Lenny tells him what time it is UTC. He's like, oh, okay. Oh. So then he puts in the UTC so it'll work.
Yeah.
Anyway, bear with. It'll get better here in a second. Then he'll show some more. There. Oh, look at that timer. Yeah. Slick. Very slick. So yeah, and then he starts showing us how below that you basically can. So this is you're logged in as Egon right now. So he could vote. He could pick himself or one of the other members to vote for as the election's ongoing.
What's that blue play button?
It probably means he's voted for himself.
Okay.
And then upload. You can upload it. So and also the Zoom link was provided here. Like the Zoom link was there. He didn't have to go outside of this. It's provided within the app. Which is super handy because that was awkward before everyone had issues with the Zoom link not working and then people leaving the call and this way. Maybe the play doesn't mean that, but yeah, now he's saying you could vote for whoever you want. And as you vote, he's probably going to do it in a second. And he's going to go show us. There's another inner screen that shows. There's like a bar up top. It's the consensometer, basically. So how far along to consensus are we? Because that came up sometimes in some of the previous trial elections. People are like, well, how many do we need? We've got 4. Do all 4 of us need to vote for the same person? Is it just 3 of us? So those questions are sort of just now not like it's obvious. It shows you. It has the consensus, and you can change your vote as the election goes on. So you change your mind partway through, you can change it. You're not fixed. So as you're voting, which is good too. It's nice. Like as soon as you start, if you're running and you want to, then everyone just signals that they're voting for themselves, and then right away it just saves time too, right? You can kind of see where everyone's at straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get another update like this tomorrow.
Beautiful. Here's some designs.
Now he's going to show us what the consensometer looks like. If you scroll over a smidge in time, you'll there it kind of the green bar in the middle.
Yeah.
And that blue one, yeah, that shows it. So the X is where you need to get to for consensus. And depending, the other cool thing, this is interesting. So one of the questions would be like, okay, say you're in a group of 4 people, so you need 3 out of 4, because that'd be 75%, and it's greater than 2/3 plus 1. So 3 out of 4 need to vote on one person, right, including the person voting for himself. So what happens if you're in a call, and all of a sudden one of the people just their connection dies, their internet cocks out on them or something, right? So now, or no. No. Say 2 of them leave. Never mind, just 3, because you could still have 3 people vote and you'd get away with it. But say 2 of the 4 leave for whatever reason and they don't vote. So now it's like, oh great, 2 of us are here. No one moves forward, right? It's impossible. So what they've decided to do is, if you have a majority of who's ever left, it will automatically give the votes needed to move the person into consensus. So say 2 out of 2 vote for vote for one of them, and even though the other 2 people have left, it'll still then update it so that the person moves forward based on the consensus of who's left.
Is there a button that just says I vote for no one?
That's a good question. I guess you could just vote for yourself in that case.
Yeah.
You didn't want to give your vote to anybody else. I don't see that button though. Yeah, good question on that. Whether do you have to vote? I mean, I guess you just vote for yourself if you don't want to give it to anybody else.
Because if you don't vote, then won't the app treat it like, again, you got disconnected or something like that?
It might. It's a very good question. We could ask this of Brandon tomorrow.
Cool.
Yeah, they should probably add an option that you don't
Nope.
like any of the candidates, because voting for yourself, maybe you don't want to move on.
Yeah. And
Right.
plus on the record, you might not want, to look like you're voting for yourself. You might just say, nah, like I don't think any of us are worthy, or I think we're better off if we, out of all of us, none of us go through to the next level. Therefore I annul my vote or whatever. Yeah.
Yep, it's a good point. I didn't see it anywhere, or I don't recall it being mentioned during this particular talk. So yeah, good thing to ask tomorrow.
Yeah, I watched it too, Chris. It wasn't there.
See a lot of value in these Monday night open mics. We get to know each other and talk about important things to bring up later on. Yep. I've made a note to not forget to ask. Yeah, so that was that one. It's pretty slick. It's definitely come a long way, that's for sure, compared to where we're at. So they need to finish this, I think. And then the other piece that's getting completed that is going to be with this update, not only is the actual election itself going to receive an update, or completely revamped, in fact, by using the app, but then once there's winners or people who are receiving funds, that will be also dictated through the smart contract. So that's what Dan mentioned on the fireside chat as well, is that no funding will come until the smart contract is live. That then controls the distribution of funds. So basically it can't be rug pulled or gamed and just walked away with. And how that works is 5% of the total treasury in the Eden treasury, only 5% is distributed each month to the winners. Which makes for...
When is the next fireside chat? I didn't see it on the community calendar.
Yeah, don't know. That is a good question. At one point in time, it was going to be once a month, but I don't know if that schedule hasn't quite been met. So yeah, I'm not sure when Dan's going to do another one. Hopefully sometime soon. Be good to get an update. I guess we'll
Yeah.
get, I mean, at least we get the update from the Clarion team weekly. So we got Mike Manfredi and Brandon Francher switch out every other week. So that's at least something.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Well-
out of all the questions, Chris, that Eve is going to answer, what do you think is the most crucial one that that we know about?
Great question. Let's see. So what are the questions? There's quite a few. He took, I mean, he's taken a bunch from that one article I wrote, or forum post, I guess, right article. How will funds be used? Who is on the council? How is the council determined? What is the role of the council? Actually, I should probably just screen share this. Let me screen share so everyone can see what Eve wrote. Yeah.
You know, I thought it was interesting that EOS Asia has Defang in the multi-sig,
Yep.
and you'd think that they'd be like one of the first to approve like both multi-sigs, but they haven't approved the second multi-sig.
No. Yeah. It's interesting. Which is probably a good sign. Because obviously he's gonna. So maybe it just means a few of them are working through something together collaboratively, and then we'll sign it once.
Hey, look, if I was a BP, I wouldn't sign it unless I got these questions answered either, personally.
Yeah, answer these first, then sign it. Yeah, right. I mean, this is a fair point. Totally fair point. I mean, there's a lot of questions here. Can anybody see that? Okay, is that too super small or is that visible?
Yeah, no, it looks good.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the most important one. There's a lot here. I mean, how will funds be used? That's pretty key. So he started off good.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's in it? Like, and council versus
Well, we
core. That's interesting. There's two separate things.
already know that, right?
Who's in it?
Yeah.
No, well, we know it's Zach, Eve, and Defeng are there, but there's more. There's more than that because it looks like there's a council and a foundation core. So there's two separate groups.
Oh, I see.
Why small number on council? The council is not very big apparently, so maybe the council is Eve, Defeng, and Zach, and then the foundation's bigger. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
What happens when the foundation decides to proceed without the council?
What do you think he means by consensus style? MetaMask, Diligence, Truffle, and Fura.
Well, where does he write that here?
It's just above foundation bylaws.
Oh yeah, that's in the Everything EOS podcast. Zach was saying how consensus funded these like non-profitable but needed like apps for the Ethereum ecosystem. I think that's what he's referring to here.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, they're going to follow a consensus style approach where they will fund infrastructure that doesn't necessarily generate a return, but it's needed to then help other dApp developers. So diligence, well, Truffle is an example, MetaMask, and I think just it means due diligence in infrastructure. Or no, Infura, that's another thing. Yeah. Maybe diligence is too. I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, I think Infura is essentially our defuse.
Okay. So that's good. I mean, that's obviously it's working well for Ethereum.
Yeah, we need it.
Yeah. Community channels, periodical reports, transparency of funds, like that's all good to see. That's going to be addressed. How to receive grants. The mission. Yeah. It's a lot of great questions that will be answered, so that's good. I expect it'll be around for a while. I don't see some transition where the foundation disappears and Eden just becomes this thing that I don't see that happening. Doesn't make sense. looks good anyway. I'm excited for this. He said he'd have it out by the end of the weekend or next week, early next week. So roughly a week from now. Figure that'll be
Yeah,
good.
that's good.
Tadas, do you have any questions about Eden in general? Like we've been chatting away a bit about it. I mean, so, and Jesse, you might have joined a little later, but Tadas is a new potential member who's interested in joining.
Well, I don't know. Maybe just I forgot what happens if people can't reach a consensus to select a winner. So what is in this case? I just forgot. I think it was mentioned in the book.
Well, no, I mean, if you can't reach, if someone, say you have 4 people and it's 2 versus 2 and no one's changing their mind, no one moves on. So that's just, there's no one moves on from that particular round to the next round, from that group to the next round. So that's why, and that's where this is sort of solving in terms of like, what does this solve for? Like, what's the desired trait that this will select for the winners? And consensus building is kind of number one. Whoever is good at achieving consensus, and then you have a better chance of breaking those 2-2 ties or similar. What makes someone a good consensus builder? I don't know. It's kind of it's still being discovered. I don't know if there was ever much study on that. Is there any books on this?
Yeah, that's
well, yeah, like The Art of Persuasion, maybe books like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also have a hobby. It's some kind of social game like Mafia. I'm not sure if you're familiar with.
What's it called?
It's called like Mafia, like Mafia is
Mafia. Okay.
But it's just a name. So basically, it's 10 people sitting in the table. So it's played like that, and they are speaking for 1 hour, and then 3 of them are like Mafia. So you should find them. So you should also build a consensus. So then everybody should vote and to decide who is Mafia, like that.
There you go.
There are some similarities with this for me.
You'll be well practiced then.
Yeah.
Except you're trying to figure out who should move forward to spend money. Be trusted with money. And it's also like a trust machine in a way, because this solves for trust, right? Once you have broken trust within the community, I think it'll make it very difficult to have people vote for you in future elections.
Yeah.
So the downside of being a higher profile person maybe is that you're more exposed to if you make a mistake. If you say something that might rub people the wrong way, you start talking about vaccines and politics, that could backfire real quick in an election. So we just
We're going to fund vaccines for all Eden members.
That's right. Yeah, we're gonna. And even saying that's contentious. What do you mean? You're not an anti-vaxxer? I'm not voting for you. I only vote for anti-vaxxers, or vice versa. It's too polarizing. The third rail of Eden is anything too sensitive. What do you think, Eddie? Is that true?
I just lost my thought. Just like requiring vaccine passports for online chat rooms. Like,
could you imagine? That's the migration awesome. We're on. Yeah,
that's the path. So.
Well, in general, totalitarianism. Maybe that's in order to get on the internet, you're going to need some sort of good social credit score. That's not unheard of. Yeah. Anyway, at least things are moving in Eos and the whole market in general. That's more optimistic and cheery.
So guys, I had a thought, maybe a little more on the pessimistic side, but when everyone gets funded, like people are so desperate for funding some of these teams, and they're going to have to sell their Eos to get certain services. So maybe we're going to see a little dip before we really go up. Like maybe like the fruits of the labor of the funding will get us to like 100 plus, but we'll see, because they're going to need to sell, right?
Some. It depends on the individual. It depends on, I mean, if your sole source of income is based in Eos, if that's the currency that you're denominating all of your income in, then yeah, I suppose you don't have a choice. Otherwise, unless you have fiat savings. If you have more than one source of income, then maybe not, because you might think Eos is a great investment. So not only are you willing to work for payment in Eos, but you actually want to hold it because you think it's going to go up. So it's not necessarily going to be dumped. But yeah, some will. I mean, some people will sell it for sure.
It also
Yeah.
depends on like how much funding is given, if it's like all up front, or if again it's like, you know, given each month kind of thing to over time.
That's
Also
true.
with bullish comes out, because if bullish comes out with those, you know, massive liquidity pools that it's promising, then if people sell on that, then again it should be a little less of a hit compared to, you know, just dumping it on a order book possibly.
Yeah, well, that problem exists even for the foundation. Never mind Eden. The foundation's going to they're going to dump larger quantities of EOS at one time. They're going to have the capacity to dump far larger quantities at one time than Eden will, because Eden has a 5% cap of the treasury. So, for example, if there's, say, $1 million to go easy, if there's $1 million in the Eden treasury, then 50 grand can be distributed per month. And then the 50 grand is divvied up. So say Eden election has 4 funding rounds. So there's the first round that when you first join an election. So Taras, when you first are in an election, you'll get randomly grouped into a bunch of groups.
Yeah.
No one gets funding just for participating. There's no funding involved. But once you win, if you win your group and you move on, you are now within a funding round. And so the number of rounds will indicate how much funding you get from that 5% that's distributed. So say there's 4 rounds that move up. So you have one person at the top, then people below, people below, people below. So say those 4 get funding. If there's 50 grand a month, 1/4 of that is given to the top person. So he'll get 12.5 grand. Then 1/4 is split amongst the next row. So say there's 3 people. So they're going to get whatever, 4 grand, $150 each or whatever. And then below that, those people will all split their share, and below that. So the further down you go, your whatever percentage allocation of that will be diluted amongst more people. So, and that'll happen just every month. And if the treasury goes up or down, and as the treasury value or as the amount in the treasury changes, your distribution will change. That's the other kind of tricky thing, is there's no guaranteed funding, which makes it awkward if you're trying to pitch a project and you're like, this is the funding I need to do this project, but you don't have any guarantees necessarily, because, well, you could kind of assume what it's going to be as it continues on the downtrend, because as you pull from the treasury and it's not replenished, each subsequent month will have less, because 5% of a smaller number. So I suppose you can kind of map it out, but if there's a snap election, however, the one thing that is kind of shitty is that there's a guaranteed election every 6 months. So that's fixed. There will be an election every 6 months, but there can be elections earlier than that if one is called. And the downside is if an election's called early, then that means anybody who had received funding stops receiving it because then it's the results of the next election that dictate who would get funding.
Yeah, I see.
Interesting.
But sounds quite fair.
Yeah, there's a few. Have you read the peace treaty? Tadas? No?
Peace treaty, it's a book? Not sure.
No, it's a document. So Dan wrote it. It's basically, so if you become an Eden member, what you're agreeing to is this peace treaty. I'll put it in the chat here. I'll link it for you. And you basically are abiding by the rules of the peace treaty. They're meant to be very basic, very simple. It's 1 page, so not overly complicated or arduous. But
so in Dan's book, there is a concept of peace treaty, I guess.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly that's it. So I put that in the link for you. So you'll need to read that basically, and you'll have to agree that you'll abide by those rules as a member. And then there'll also be bylaws, but Dan will be writing those for the first year. And we don't really know what they're going to look like quite yet. We've seen a couple, but not the full suite of bylaws. But another interesting thing about Eden that is, once after the first year is up and Dan kind of hands over the control of the bylaws. That's like a special privilege he's going to keep for the first year, so he can make any tweaks to ensure this can't be gamed. But after that, you would have a regular election. You have people voted, and the people at the top, they're called the chief delegates. They get to then propose new bylaws. They can propose rule changes, but they can only propose them. They can't actually ratify them to make them actual rules. So what they can propose all they want during their term, and then the next election, so subsequent election, whoever becomes the chief delegates of that election can then ratify previously suggested rules, which is interesting because then you get somebody comes in and they're like, oh, they're going to change the rules, and people don't like it. Maybe the rules disenfranchise a certain group and advantage a special interest group, like you typically see in politics, right? Lobbyists lobby politicians to get into positions of power so they can then write the laws that are in favor and benefit the lobbyists, right, and the special interests. So we see that happen all the time. This prevents that by requiring a subsequent election to then, so all the potential rule changes are well known, they've been presented to everyone, and then in the next election, part of your pitch, say you want to move forward in an election, part of your pitch is, oh, by the way, this is what I'm doing, this is why you should support me, and in terms of those rules changes, they're great rules, I'm going to support them, I'll ratify those. Or they're shitty rule changes and you're running on the fact that those are shitty rules, and if you vote for me, I will not ratify those rules because they're not good. So it's like another dimension to an election that will come up.
Yeah, I like it.
It's pretty clever. It's a pretty clever system, I'd say. Dan has thought of some good stuff.
To test it. I guess that's partly why Eden is there. I mean, to test it in life.
Obviously the current status quo method of political leadership and where our leaders come from is not ideal. The proof is in the pudding, as they say, if you can get pudding due to supply chain shortages. So thank you. But yeah. So what else is new? We've got Doug on. Dario. Anything exciting, fellas? Isn't open mic format.
Nothing particular, no.
I don't know if you want to do it now, but I wanted to maybe share something that I was thinking about for the next election.
Yeah.
It's kind of complicated logistically. I'm not really sure how to execute it, but maybe we can get some advice. So I think I'm going to be running on the Eos Army is what I'm going to call it. Basically paid shills for Eos. But I'm finding it difficult to so I'm going to propose to manage it and, take people like Data Junkie and John McCoffey and these, people like them, how to get proof that they're actually doing the work, and then potentially distribute the EOS based on how much work they do. But I'm not sure how logistically that would work.
It's a good question.
What's the goal of utilizing shills?
To defeat FUD, to educate. So there's a few major misconceptions about EOS that are, people in Ethereum often say, for example, EOS is centralized. But if you think about it and you consider the mining pools versus the 21 block producers, that's really what matters in a 51% attack. You can make the argument that actually EOS is more decentralized than Ethereum or Bitcoin. So things like that, kind of more nuanced approach, things. And then obviously just the slander, we just need someone to give another perspective. No, EOS isn't dead. No, EOS is not a shitcoin. We're doing this, and this. I see it because I follow other communities, and there's just so much that we need to address, and we don't really have a lot of people doing it.
Yeah, but at the same time, it could easily go the other way, and people could say, "Oh, EOS is so shit that they have to pay people to, put out certain, pieces of information." Like if we're, using the word shill,
No, we're not. No. We're definitely not using that word. But that's just technically what it is. And I've seen no evidence of that for other communities who seem to be paying people to quote unquote educate and talk about their chain. I have not seen it backfire for other communities personally.
Have you seen the Telegram channel Shill Army? EOS Shill Army?
No.
Oh, I'll invite you to it. So it's basically what you're saying, except it's currently just a volunteer group who will share. They'll kind of, if there's a good meme or a good tweet, they'll put it up there so people can shill it, or a comment from somebody like the 2-bit crypto people that I replied to earlier today, whatever their moniker is. That would show up in there, and people can kind of see, oh, okay, jump on it and reply to try to fight the fight, like you're saying. So it's totally a good idea, and having some funding for that, I can't hurt. But like you say, it is a great question on how do you measure it to then fairly distribute payment per se. That's a tough one.
Right. Yeah, we're very underrepresented in the larger crypto space.
Yeah. For now, until it moons a bit, and then everyone's like, oh, EOS. Oh, wait, it's not dead. Oh, it's not a shitcoin. Look, Bullish is running on it. Oh, amazing. Who knew? A lot of us knew. Morons following Cardano.
Yeah, but they'll still talk. They'll still talk shit.
Hype wins. It just goes to show. I remember talking to some of the guys from the crypto writers, and they're like, it's always better just to hype something than deliver it, because hype will always attract more people. And then once it's delivered, it'll never be as good as what the hype thought. So it's just you're worth just having. It's better to have hype than actually deliver a product.
My dad would always say that quote to me: "Bullshit baffles brains."
Yeah, we'll have both. We need both.
So yeah, hype definitely goes a long way.
Yeah.
Do we know? Because again, I still think a big hurdle to adoption is again the account system. It's both it's like a double-edged sword, really, in the sense that we have much more flexibility with EOS accounts compared to the sort of Ethereum address system, the direct key pair. But at the same time, there's a cost to creating accounts. Do you think EOS Foundation would sponsor some sort of service that makes it easier to create an account, pay for the initial RAM costs and stuff like that?
Maybe. I don't see why not.
I think that would be a requirement. We need to sort of force it or whatever to so people can create accounts, because that's one thing that Ethereum has over us, just ease of adoption. Anyone could just download MetaMask for free, get an account for free, whereas that's not really the case for EOS, and it needs to be a bit more simple. I'm thinking again, if you just sign in with your social shit like Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and that can serve as enough. Again, money would get wasted. There's always going to get gamed, but hopefully not so much that it's not worth doing for the other communities out there. Or again, if you get maybe there can be stuff like if you have an Eden account, because anyone that has an Eden account is verified to be a true human, and then from there maybe you get like 3 vouchers where you can just onboard 3 friends or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Dan's talked about that, like which billion people get to be on the platform. Then he talks about the identity. Well, we need an identity solution before we give out free accounts. So yeah, super tough problem.
Yeah, it'd be a good thing to add to some, like I know John Heater's looking to add more functionality to the EOSPowerup.io site that he has, and doing more Oh yeah, Dario just put the Shill Army, and I already added Jesse. You're added to that group now too.
Awesome. Thank you.
But yeah, so maybe it'd be interesting. Like John's thinking, ad banners or just a way to drive more traffic there and make it profitable, maybe. But maybe that's a good public good that the foundation can fund John, or an Eden election could fund John to then add this functionality to make an easy account creation on that portal that has free power-ups. So it's a good thing to keep new potential users aware of. Or maybe Greymass. They're doing so much stuff and they want to work on this sort of single sign-on type of thing. So maybe they're the team to get funded to then build out
they charge
their tools.
$149 for an EOS account.
It's not bad. $1.50.
But it should be free. We should fund them for free accounts.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it wouldn't take much to say here. Yeah, it's just spam. How do you stop from getting someone from Telos saying how do we drain every single good thing that EOS has going for it? Because it's kind of direct competition, so it kind of makes sense. If I was Telos and I had no scruples, I would pay someone just to go and mess with every other competitor chain, right? That seems pretty logical. So, which is why I think there's paid trolls in some of the EOS Telegram channels.
There's paid trolls everywhere. Everywhere.
Because it works.
Yep. And sometimes you can't beat them. You gotta join their strategy. I know it kind of sucks, and we like to think we're above that, but it really hasn't gotten us anywhere.
Nope. Got to swallow the pride. Do what needs to be done.
I also think with the free accounts, so I'm in the digital ad space, and what's cool about blockchain is, we have like all the people that we would give a free account to, we can potentially track their blockchain account and to get like a value per free account. Like, are they buying NFTs? Do they have an EOS account? Do they have an EOS balance? And a developer can potentially write a script that just takes all the accounts that have signed up to the free account and get like an average value per free account. And I think that can justify perhaps, maybe we start out with just a little bit of funding to give Grandmaster, for example, maybe get 1,000 free accounts. Well, what's the value of those 1,000 free accounts? And if it's positive, maybe we give them more funding, like kind of an incremental strategy.
It's a really good idea. That should be all trackable.
Right. And then Dan can't say, oh, they're siphoning off all the free accounts. Like, we're going to get direct evidence whether there's bots. Because if a bot signs up for a free account, they're not going to do anything on their account if it's a malicious bot. And we'll know that.
Yeah.
Well, how do we know that the bot just doesn't start doing random transactions that make it look human, but it's not?
Well, I feel like we can tell, right? If it's a random transaction versus like a transaction that has value. Like, you talking about like CPU mining?
Well, yeah. Well, what would be a transaction of value that can't just be scripted by a bot?
Maybe like a Nudex transaction.
Buying an NFT, Nudex stuff, yeah, trades.
DeFi box.
That's all scriptable.
No, but we want that. We want activity.
We want real activity. We want bot activity.
Don't be so picky. Activity.
I can make a script that will buy NFTs for you. That's fine.
Yeah, we want that. I would say we want that.
No, well, what value does that give us?
For the people who are selling those NFTs.
Yeah, I mean, you could create an account and not give them the owner key or the actual keys, and then track their account, see how many purchases they actually make, and once they've paid for that amount of traffic on the chain, then you can actually hand them the keys to the account.
Yeah, I was thinking I had one idea of like a tax system. So it'll probably be too costly in RAM, but again, technically you could possibly create an account, have a smart contract on it, so that when it receives EOS, there's a 1% tax on the EOS that it receives, and then you just accumulate that EOS over time, and then once the account's been paid for, then again the contract and then just gets deleted, and the owner gets access to the full account. But again, I think the easiest solution would just be social identities, just unique social identities that are backed by at least two different places. So like one Facebook account, one Google account or whatever, and then that way the spam protection and stuff like that is more Google and Google's job than it is our job.
So John, the Wax Cloud wallet does that. The social sign-ins, you don't need two, but there's plenty of bots on that platform.
Well, yeah, the more social sign-ins, the harder it is to do.
Hey, John, and maybe Taras, you guys might know, you guys are coders. So is there, can we put a mixing service or something on EOS so that it's not so traceable? Because it's a bit too transparent, don't you think? It's kind of too open. I mean, I'm all with transparency, but I don't know. It's a bit much.
We need POs, and that means the block producers need to implement the code.
Can we not just write something that doesn't require a a code upgrade? Like why not just a mixing service where you can just send coins in and they come out random?
Because I think even with mixing services, they still utilize is it TX? I can forget what the thing is, but again, mixing services will utilize which EOS doesn't have. Like mixing services would still have to transfer EOS to accounts rather than to addresses, and it can't create new addresses on the fly kind of thing. So it's still not as easy to do on EOS as it would be for stuff like Ethereum and stuff like that. But really, I don't think that EOS is the chain to deliver it. Again, it's kind of like a tax for the transparency. Do we want a transparent platform, or do we want a platform where you get privacy, but then that comes at the cost of risk of shadiness and stuff like that? What are we going for? I think it's a tax that we have to pay for the cost of that transparency, because it's the same transparency that we value when it comes to getting transparency of funds on EOS Foundation and stuff like that. If
or like that hack, the EOS X hack.
Yeah, the EOS X hack. If there was a mixer there, then we would have been pretty screwed.
I guess so. Yeah, all right. It just seems like it's like you're gonna go to the grocery store and one day and they accept EOS, they're gonna know, I looked at your account and you went to the other grocery store last week. What the hell? You know what I mean? Like there's just all sorts. I mean, that's obviously silly, but there's still it's a lot. Like if EOS is becoming a currency, I don't know if I want my currency to be. I mean, that's creeping into the kind of negative aspects of crypto, as far as I'm concerned.
And creating a huge security risk for yourself.
Yeah. Oh, you're rich, and we're going to find out where you live now.
Yeah, the average person doesn't have the security detail that multimillionaires have, need privacy.
Yeah, or even just family members, right?
Rely on code instead of police, and it could actually.
Yeah, hey cousin, I need to borrow some money. I'm having a hard time. And you're like, no, I don't know, dude. Dude, I just checked your account and I see that you've got $100,000 in EOS. You can lend me $5,000. Don't be so chintzy.
Yeah, but again, I kind of like the idea of like radical transparency in money, because again, while it does give us awkward conversations, it kind of just makes life like easier at the same time. Again, when stuff like theft happens, or again, politicians are accepting money. Like again, if money was all on EOS, then again, people, how would you bribe people? How would you do this shady shit? Or tax evasion and all that crap. Like, again, because how much money do we spend on, catching, terrorist financing, or how much regulation do us businesses go through to deal with, anti-money laundering and anti-terrorist financing and stuff like that, where it would just be completely for free on EOS. Like that wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, but I feel like the answer to that is not the money. It's the fact that we have these overarching governments that stick their hands in everything and regulate things to death as a method to try to fix things, when really they're just taking care of their special interests anyway. At least that's what I think, because I totally don't trust governments. But
yeah, well, some stuff gets wasted, but some there are cases where it does work and they do get the bad guy or whatever. But yeah, we sure as hell pay for it in today's world. But yeah, maybe again you could just have a sort of a bank, possibly a bank system. Yeah, it's kind of like a centralized service where you just deposit your EOS into the centralized bank, and then you can transfer your EOS, amongst people that are also, with that bank. And then when they want to cash out, they can cash out. That would sort of protect your keep you anonymous. But again, then you have to trust your EOS with another centralized party.
Just create a new account, Chris. You go to the supermarket that day, create a new account. Yeah, it'll link through your other accounts, but is someone really going to do the work?
Yeah, but how does he fund that account?
Yeah. Oh no. So it's not hard to do the work. I mean, I've done it. I've looked. I've not in any malicious way. I'm just curious. I'll see someone's account and I'll go into blocks.io and you see, where did it receive funding from? Oh, that you click on it. Oh wow, you're a whale. You've got all sorts of EOS. I mean, I don't know. It's not bad. It's just, I don't know. It's weird. It's like a new thing. And then if you get paid in EOS, there goes your, everyone's knowing what you're making. So your salary's disclosed, which I'm not opposed to that. I think they're kind of like you're saying, John, how there's value in being more transparent with money. The whole tabooness is, I don't know if it's necessarily a good thing. It's just a societal norm, but does that mean it has to be that way? And does that make it right or wrong? I don't know. I think employers want us not to know so they can rip us off. So they can pay one person more and not pay his counterpart because he doesn't know.
Yeah, I think overall it forces us to have awkward conversations, but overall it serves us more than it does, the bad guy, because again, it stops all the terrorist stuff and money laundering, and then like you say, with the bosses and stuff like that. And of course, theft as well. Like, theft is way more obvious in that world. So,
and then eventually, when you buy things, the memo will be like your receipt, so it'll actually say what you had. So it'll just be way more efficient, right? So then your boss can, when he pays you and he looks at your account, he's like, "Man, that was a really expensive dildo you bought last week." Because it's in the memo, right? Because it'll have it.
Yeah.
No hiding.
I think we can have both.
How? That's what I'm asking. How do we have it on
transparency
EOS?
of the funds that are common? The tax system and all that. Can be transparent as can be, and then you jump into privacy when it's your private dealings.
But how do you tax
transparency where we need it? But
yeah, I don't know how you separate it. It is. I mean, this is where we are. So is that what happened with Eos then? So Eos required a change to be accepted by the block producers, and they never did, so it just died. Is that the eulogy of?
B1 even developed the code for it to be done. Surprisingly enough. And,
why would the block producers be against that?
They're just scared of the regulation, coming down. But at the same time, there's SEC people saying they're all for privacy of money. It's kind of fundamental.
I'm sure that's just talk. Those who really want the control don't want privacy. So maybe EOS is captured? Is that what this is telling us? That EOS has been captured by the globalists, and it's just a matter of time before it turns the corner and becomes a super chain? That all the globalists, this is the one. This is how we're going to put our CBDCs are going to be on EOS. Going to be like the sleeper that it's decentralized, guys. It was from the community. It's not our project. You can trust it.
as far as
Maybe.
what now?
Dun,
Well,
dun.
Another
mean-
big thing that's important for EOS again is again where a delegated proof of stake chain, like where the tokens are, matters in terms of governance. Do we really want to start hiding the tokens? Because we use that to see who's voting for who and where the money's going and stuff like that. If we start making it private, then is that are we killing the transparency when it comes to governance? Are we creating
Eos,
the ghost?
Eos is a different currency though. I mean, it's not making EOS private. It's just a privacy currency on EOS. So you'd have all the transparency in EOS that you want, but then people can jump into POS, buy an account privately, or use an address without an account, which is really cool.
Right. But then you're trusting another currency, like market value wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's within the EOS ecosystem, I mean, you can jump right in and out, do what you need to do, as far as just disconnect your public and your private life, and your business life and different businesses. I mean, as much as I'm not a fan for capitalism, like it's all operates on secrets, trade secrets, the advantage over another. Like you don't want to give your competition all your secrets away. As long as we live in this kind of economy, you need privacy. I mean, if Bezos can see everybody's transactions, he can undercut everybody, I mean, just who knows what could happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not a fan of capitalism?
Oh, not at all. But that's beside the point, I guess.
But it's crony capitalism. That's not true capitalism. The modern definition is not applicable when you have fiat money in central banks. Because
Are you against like crony capitalism and like corporatism or capitalism?
Well, again, definitions are loosely applied.
Yeah.
Capitalism today is not the original form. Like there's no cost of capital today. So that's kind of a basic fundamental requirement for capitalism, for there be a cost of capital. And with negative interest rates, you've broken the laws of financial physics. So it shouldn't be possible. There shouldn't be a negative time value of money like that. So yeah, we don't have capitalism today. It's corporatism, socialism for the rich. We don't have capitalism. We had it back in 1913. When I say we, probably the U.S. did, right? When it's like a gold standard, true hard money.
Yeah,
prior to 1913.
Depends on the definitions that you adopt. Again, I think Dan Larimer's book says capitalism's it's not even a thing that you can turn on and off or, have and not have. It's just an always being, thing. It's whether the degree of socialism that's, implemented. But again, there's no such thing as, getting rid of capitalism or having a non-capitalist society. Like even, Soviet Union and any other, has capitalism in it.
Yeah. See what's Dan here. Dan says communists might describe everything with a profit motive as being capitalistic. Capitalism is just above the law of the jungle, in that it exists where there are no governments or formal communities. Right. Which is what we don't have. That's the point. Today we don't have capitalism in its true sense because it's being co-opted and corrupted with endless supplies of money that then mean there's no cost of capital. Do you guys ever listen to Max Kaiser? No?
Yeah, sometimes. Rarely, but I've seen him.
He gets a bit energetic. But I agree with his basic premise that central banks are the ultimate problems of the world. If we didn't have central banks and central bankers printing money, and that is what allows for the special interest group to have additional power than they should have and tip the scales and get us to where we are today. So I'm with him on that one. short of changing government, we should at least get rid of fiat money.
What would you replace it with?
Scarce monetary supply. Gold, Bitcoin. I'd be happy with both of those. I own both of them, so I have bias. Picking the assets that I know will appreciate greatly if this change is made.
Yeah, just a receipt money system then.
Yeah, well, and then here we are. Inflation is good if it's properly used. So there's always going to be, like, it's a tricky one. Like Eos Foundation, we're looking to increase inflation, and the debate is, inflation bad? Well, is it? If the money is used well, then it can increase the performance and adoption of the ecosystem. Inflation isn't bad. I don't know. It's tricky.
Yeah. Well,
You
again,
have inflation and a hard money supply.
yeah. Well, if we went down the route of true democracies, and again, each one would have its own currency. This is backed by its community, and then they can use that to again protect independence and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then I guess for probably sometimes maybe for big intertrade between communities, then again you could go for something like gold, but
Send it on the ship. I'm not taking any paper IOUs. Negative. I don't know. Yeah, hard to say. Hello, Douglas.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
How's it going?
We're good.
Good, man. Just wrote the code. Decided to come be social for a little bit.
Yeah, right on. Are you still somewhere tropical?
No, well, I'm in the desert now, man. I'm in the desert of Peru. I'm at my girlfriend's parents' house. So, yeah, not as nice as where I was when I saw you last.
No way. Well, that's still
Trying to get some creepy lighting going here.
The deserts have
Yeah, it's cool.
mystique.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do.
So your internet's is quite solid. Like if you're in the middle of a desert in Peru, I would expect you to be really pixelated.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a town, so
Okay.
But yeah, I guess it's working. We just like paid to upgrade the internet, so I guess we got the best that they can have right here. So yeah.
Yeah, right on. Good to see. And so are you working? I hadn't put this together before, but I did see a post from Max about some perks for Eden members.
I'm working on like my proposal. I don't think so. I mean, I'm working on my proposal from the last election. Is like the Meta Eden repo where anybody can sort of type out a well-structured idea. We're kind of taking a few ideas from like NPM as far as like versioning and like having a named project and things like that. So I will be incentivizing the people who want to contribute to that repo. But yeah, other than that,
so you're not
all I'm doing. At least
you're not csx.io.
I'm cxc.world.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Different group. That's why I got the CX. Anyway, it was similar enough that it confused me. So that's why. Okay.
Yep.
Right on.
How's everybody doing?
Yeah, we got Tadas is new. He's from Crypto Lions, and he's a new potential Eden member. So he's kind of hanging out, getting.
Okay, I know Taras. I'm bug him all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's what I was fixing. I was fixing something so that whenever your API is down, it doesn't affect me anymore. So I shouldn't be bugging you in the future. So that's good news.
Oh, right. So that's you. Okay. I saw
yeah.
CXC letters sound similar for me.
Yeah. Yep, that's me. Well, I'm happy that you're here in Eden, man. It's really
Yeah,
good. I'm
keep
sure
going.
that you'll be a big contribution.
I hope.
So Douglas, you use some of the services from Crypto Lions?
Yeah, I use a lot of simple assets in my project, mainly because they have specific things with author control that allow you to run a game a lot easier that wouldn't be possible on atomic assets. So our basic like game mechanics on cxt.world are all going to be on simple assets. So like the one thing that we have out now is called an Everstone. It's basically like you buy this NFT and then you can stake the EOSIO based token, which is actually on Wax. The game's on Wax, but so you stake the token to the NFT, and then every day we read from their API, figure out who has the tokens with how much or who has the NFTs with how much attached, and then we send them a different token as their sort of reward for holding it, and then they can use that token in app. So that's it.
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah,
I'm
Salah, the CEO of Voice, he was saying how simple assets is the best standard in EOSIO.
Yeah, it's good. You can do things you can't do on Atomic. So yeah.
So they're not the same then? Simple assets is non-compatible with atomic assets? Like it's different?
Yep. Oh yeah. Different standards, different everything. Now there are a lot of NFT places that allow you to sell and interact with both simple assets. For example, like NFT Hive, you can buy and sell assets on either standard. But yeah, they're completely independent.
Huh. So it's kind of a race. This is like a Blu-ray versus, I don't know, DVD. This is like we're just like a beta versus VHS kind of competition now.
No, I don't think so. I mean, simple assets has actually been around since before, I believe, since before Atomic. It's like really on blockchain, it's just like whatever is better for your project is what you end up going with. So I think a lot of people go with Atomic because they were sort of their marketplace is better, and they have these tools to drop NFTs, which is really good for the projects. And then you have Nifty Blocks come in, and that's a service that also does their own sort of drops, but only works with Atomic. So a lot of the sort of the NFT collectible projects gravitate towards atomic assets. But if you're, a developer, and you actually read what's the difference, a lot of times you find, okay, simple assets is a lot better for what I'm trying to do. And a lot of things that just aren't possible on atomic.
So like if you're making a game that uses NFT assets, unique assets in your game, you're going to maybe be more inclined. You don't require the marketplace per se. You're going to use the game or your own marketplace within your game maybe. So you would use simple assets?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you looked into Hodl God?
I haven't. No, I don't know what it is.
I've heard of that, but no, I have not. Are they on simple assets?
I don't know what standard they use, but their game looks pretty sweet. It's on Wax. The way you're describing it, it looks pretty complex. That they'd probably use simple assets.
Yeah, I'll check it out. They're like a
That's
serious like
the Void
3D
token.
game, right?
What?
Okay. Are they like a 3D game where you're like, it's almost like Assassin's Creed or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks really cool. I haven't played it yet, but it looks super cool.
Have you played it, Jesse?
No, because I don't have a Windows machine. I'm on Mac, so I can't play it yet. But I've looked into it. I've read their game mechanics. It's looks awesome.
I think
Nice.
there's going to be a bunch of really good games that are going to come out. that
Yeah, it's
people are
built on
working
Unreal Engine. So it looks like a AAA quality game. They do have a fungible token with great incentives, and yeah, games are coming.
And that's
For sure.
on Wax, though?
Yes.
Damn it. I don't get the Wax token. I don't understand the tokenomics. I've never paid attention. But how come it doesn't go up in value? Is it a resource token? Does anybody know how it works on Wax? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
or go ahead if you know.
yeah, I was just gonna say, like, it's an EOSIO based chain, so like it's almost exactly the same as EOS was before the power up model, right? So the big difference, or like the big reason why we chose Wax over Telos or EOS is, honestly, the only reason is the Wax Cloud wallet, and that's something that I'm hoping EOS can come up with something similar to that. But basically, it's I forget the word, but it's a centralized key store. So the Wax guys, the Wax team who owns the blockchain, they built this service that
Custodial.
You sign in, and then custodial. That's it. Yeah. So it's a custodial wallet. They own your actual keys, but all you have to do is sign in with social verification like Twitter or Google. And then, you can start transacting, and, they'll give you a tiny bit of Wax so you can make maybe 3 transactions per day or something like that. So, yeah, that's the big difference. They're also they're like EOSIO before the power up model. So, or EOS before the power up model. So there's still the opportunity for like me as a game developer to just buy a bunch of Wax and then just simply stake it. And then I don't, my company doesn't actually have to pay anything to continually transact, for however many transactions.
I'm surprised it's so low in value. Like, it hasn't moved, considering the amount of volume and all the different issuances they've had of different NFTs and collaborations. It's shocking to me that the price, I don't get it.
You could say the same thing about EOS.
Yeah, but EOS doesn't have like Tops and Garbage Pail Kids and whatever else they've had come on there. Like, there's just so many recognizable brands, that it just seems like it would be great exposure to the platform, where EOS doesn't have any of that shit going on.
It's a liquidity problem with the token. It's not easy to get the token in the Western Hemisphere. They need to get on like a tier 1 exchange. They need to get on Coinbase.
This is Wax you're talking about, right?
What?
This is Wax you're talking about, obviously? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Like Kraken or Coinbase, they need to get on.
They're on KuCoin and Bittrex, I believe. But the other thing you have to think about is the coin is cheaper, but as far as like resources are concerned, like 1 Wax is sort of equivalent to 1 EOS as far as how much resources you get. So if Wax costs 20 cents right now and EOS costs $4, that's like 20 times more resources that you get, or more for the same amount of money, right? So the other thing you could think about is like, what's the multiplier of how much it moves. And if when I got into Wax, it was about like 5 cents, and now like today it's about 19 to 20 cents. So that's about a 4 times multiplier. And if you look at EOS, the normal range is maybe, at least in the last 6 months, besides the spike, it's usually around like $4. And the spike will go up to, 4 times that. I think we hit, 14 or 17 not too long ago. So as far as like, I don't know, if you look at it from that lens, it's actually not that different. If you think about the multiplication.
Well, yeah.
I was gonna say one other thing about Wax. Hey guys, I've been listening in. Is Wax has, and I don't remember how the tokenomics works, but there's like 3 other tokens on the Wax blockchain. One is because they.
Well, it's
They
actually
start-
on the Ethereum blockchain. It's Wax
Okay, it's
E
on
and Wax
Ethereum.
G. But you
Wax
got
E
to
and
bridge
G.
over to Ethereum.
And then there's a governance token too, right?
Yeah, Wax
Yeah,
G,
Wax G.
right?
Okay, that's Wax G. Okay, so those are ERC20.
Yes.
I think
Okay.
so.
Well, I've just a few friends that are really into Wax, mentioned those to me at one point, and I wonder how much. Like, I don't know what the market cap of those tokens is, but that's an interesting kind of like side pressure on the Wax token price potentially. If money is flowing into those as staking reward pools or whatever. So
Yeah, but not a lot of people use those tokens. But yes, theoretically, yeah, because you have to exchange your Wax P into Wax E. Then you stake Wax E and ETH into a liquidity pool to get a token that gets you Wax G. So
Right.
totally, yeah. I mean, you're basically
Okay.
selling your Wax P.
Sounds super basic. So easy.
yeah, really straightforward.
Super simple.
And that's why
I
not a
know.
lot of people use it, because it's
Yeah.
complicated. It's on Ethereum. You got the fees.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I just think Wax is, we're back to the market is just not rational, and Wax is smashing it. And I mean, you can buy trading cards at Walmart that have a QR code that resolves to and assets that are on the Wax blockchain.
Yeah, the garbage pail
there's-
kids food fight.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I was at Lars's place from the Facings team, and he's like, oh yeah, you can buy those at Walmart. I was like, just the fuck, like that's crazy that a blockchain would have stuff on the shelves like at a major retailer, and like the price is still kind of lackluster. It's like either the writing is not being read that's on the wall, or yeah, because they have some pretty big names coming yet, like that have yet to even hit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, there's no USD Wax trading pair in the Western Hemisphere.
Oh yeah, that's the other weird thing. Yeah, like I remember I had to go to like Bitrue or some weird place like that to do, which was super odd.
Yeah, but you have to have
I've been doing
USDT
Bittrex.
or Bitcoin on Bittrex.
Right.
And that's like a lot of friction there.
No, there's definitely USD. There's definitely USD. Like I trade it all the time, or I used to. I don't do it much anymore, but I guarantee there's USD pair on Bittrex for US citizens. So, but it might be the only place,
No,
don't
you're
know,
right.
I guarantee there is.
Yeah, no, you're right. I did the Bittrex thing, but the weird thing was Bittrex, and I wasn't the only one that had this problem. I had to manually enter the URL for the pair. Like the pair was never listed.
Okay.
I had to go just look at how they, the scheme, and just change the BTC to USD, and then I'd get to the trading page, but it was never listed for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
It is USD. My bad.
They always have like a lot of problems with like deposits and stuff though. Like first you won't be able to pull your Wax out for like weeks or put it in or whatever. So
But the trading volume is so
Anyway.
small on the Wax USD trading pair.
yeah.
I'd blame the fact that they didn't airdrop to EOS holders. If they did that, they'd be way better today.
Well, Telos did that.
Right.
But then
Yeah.
again, I mean, I
The
love
opposite. They also, took away token from large EOS holders.
True. I think they had like a 40K cap or something like that, 30K.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely the way to do it. Definitely the way to do it. Anyway, we're here to talk about EOS.
Right. Let's talk about the greatest chain ever.
What do you guys think of bullish?
I would think I want an invite code.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I haven't been in the door
Are
yet.
you guys in?
I'm in.
Who's in? You're in? What's it like?
So good and bad. They have a lot of work to do, in my opinion. The sign up with the YubiKey didn't work for me. I contacted their support. They gave me an answer. I was like, okay. On mobile, they don't have an app. It's like in your Internet Explorer on your mobile device. So it's not mobile optimized. So I didn't like the UI on mobile. It's really set up for the institutional investor. Like it's not, I didn't find it very, I give it like maybe like a 6 out of 10 for user friendliness. But the liquidity pools worked well. Like everything worked. I'm in the competition, but I thought voice looked a lot better, the voice app, than bullish so far, personally.
Are you US based per chance?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not closed to US people.
Right.
Gotcha.
I mean, they send you a free
So
YubiKey.
with the liquidity pools,
Go ahead.
like a physical key, you mean? Like,
Yeah.
What's a YubiKey?
A YubiKey
Oh,
is
okay.
you put in your
USB.
US.
Okay.
Oh, you know. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't have one, so I'm not super familiar. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Okay.
So
Yeah.
so they
I was
sent.
gonna. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, with the liquidity pools, is it something like, like Pancake Swap, where you can get the LP token and then like farm it or whatever?
No.
Is there something like that going on? Are they rewarding LP holders other than a fee, or what?
No. There's no LP token. It's just trading fees.
Okay.
And the pairs are EOS USD, BTC USD, ETH USD, and BTC ETH. Those are the only pairs. I was like, well, that's kind of that's got to change.
I'm sure it will. Like this is first. Yeah, it'll be lots more.
Yeah, be right back, guys.
I thought it looked okay. I'm not a trader though, so to me, I absolutely suck at trading. I just like to buy something and hold it because it just seems easier. Like, so I was playing around and I have the pilot, so I was trying to like, okay, I'll try trading. I'll buy a bunch of EOS. It'll go up like a couple cents, then I'll sell it, and it comes down a little bit, then I'll buy some more. And I was doing okay. I was like, I got up to like, I don't know, 40th out of however many hundreds are on there, and I was like, yeah, this is going okay. And then I went up a little bit more. I sold it, and I had my buys lower, and it just didn't come back down. It just kept going up higher and higher and higher. And this is where I'm like, no, now I can't buy any because I'll be buying it higher than I sold it. And that seems, so I just sit there and wait like an idiot. This is why I suck at trading, because I'll never buy back in, waiting it for it to come back down where I sold it at. I don't know. How do you mentally not do that? What am I doing wrong?
You got to play both sides at the same time. I'm not a trader either, but there's some great trader foo. Well, you got to hold. You could do stop loss, and you can like hold kind of like a hedge and whatever it is if you're long EOS, then you're short dollar, or you're short Bitcoin or whatever. So you can kind of take the opposite position with another part of your stack, and it runs away from you.
I'm gonna go all in. I'm like gonna buy all EOS. They're gonna sell it all. I'm just an all-in player. You should,
I want to play poker with you, Chris.
Poker. Yeah, exactly. I'm more patient in poker. Poker, I'm very patient. Poker, I'll sit there and just fold for days before I actually make a move. And then it's harder to tell if I'm bluffing or not because I so rarely will play. But yeah, I don't know. I suck at it. Anyways, I super sucked in the first game. They call it games. So bullish, they're having 3 games, right? So the first one ended. The next one starts tonight or tomorrow. And yeah, I didn't do good in the first game. But I think the winner they made $1 million. They turned 500 grand into 1.5 million.
Wow.
We should play a poker game sometime. There's like an online poker server that you can just spin up a room.
Yeah.
And
the crypto writer guys use it all the time.
Oh, do they?
And
What the fuck? I've never been invited to the crypto writer poker game. The hell?
It's in their chat. If you hang out in their Telegram chat room, I
Oh, that's my problem.
Once. Yeah, it's in there. You got to go in their Telegram chat room, and I jumped in once, and they're like, "Oh, come play poker." So, okay, I don't know. I find online isn't as something about I don't know. This digital world. It's fun and all, but it's not like face to face is so much better.
Definitely with poker for sure.
Yeah, you got to.
With trading, not as much. Like
trading, no,
for sure.
Live in-person trading. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's how it used to be, man. Like, you ever see the old footage of like the pits or whatever? It's like, exactly. You have like a clipboard with like paper, like writing down EOS 4.07. Like,
yeah, got to run it to the right person to like do the trade, and then
they call on the rotary phone.
Yeah, things have become more efficient. That's for sure.
Then they suspend trading because like something gets out of hand. They're like, gotta shut. Yeah. The old days. The old days.
Yeah. People are going to look back to this time and think, "Oh, remember when?" Actually, they probably won't because it'll be censored media, and none of even know about this.
Well, from an optimistic point of view, I sometimes imagine that the children of like tomorrow will look back at what we're doing today and just kind of laugh. Like we're pioneering blockchain, but if a fraction of the potential is realized, then people 20 years from now will be like, those guys had no idea what they were even playing with. Like, just trying to get the rails laid, but they'll get to put all the stations and cars and things on,
Yeah, good analogy. We're doing all the legwork, all the blood, sweat, and tears, watching our bags go up and down by many percent daily sometimes. What's good about it though, the longer you're in it and being a non-trader, you just get immune to it. It's just like a number on a screen. I don't even care. I care, but I don't know. It doesn't wreck you.
Yeah, it probably like helps with other aspects of life too, like makes you, I guess, not react to things that are transient.
Yeah,
maybe,
true.
I don't know.
Yeah, man. Well, you put it in perspective, right? That's what the thing that once you've been through a few Bitcoin up and downs, you learn to like, just, this is how it goes. It'll come back. If you still believe in it, then you just recognize the lower low is, or it's a higher highs and higher lows. As long as that still holds true, which it has, then nothing to worry about. Next stop, 100K.
Yeah, I don't have any Bitcoin. I missed that whole train. But
you just refuse to buy any.
Yeah, well, it's just like I just see so much more potential to make money in coins that can fluctuate more than like 100% in value. Like what I do when I trade is I basically I trade on both sides, and I try to do like a 40% margin. So I see what the price is, and I'll put like a sell order like 40% above that, like if I buy some, or a buy order 40% below, and like put both of those, and then like I feel like I'm getting a good deal. But yeah, it depends on each market, like how much it's fluctuating. But yeah, like I used to try to like stake into like Rex and try to make money, but it was just like, okay, I could make one trade if the market moves 10% today. If I made the right trade, then you make more EOS back than you make in like a year of staking to Rex,
Totally. Rex is a total waste of time.
Which is sad. That's so sad. Are we going to change that? What's going to happen to resource exchange on EOS? Does it matter anymore?
Is it even around? Did they get rid of it with power up? or
No,
does it still work?
Yeah, it's still there for sure. Yeah,
It's still there.
and the latest, there was
Oh,
a
yeah.
staking proposal that was announced a few months ago now, I guess, that was potentially going to jack up inflation a bit to then help provide greater APY on the Rex pool. But that sat, I don't know what's going on there. It's just I haven't heard any news of it. But now the inflation being requested from the Eos Foundation kind of throws a wrench into the plans put forth in that the staking proposal, because it was all based around inflation. So yeah, I don't know, but the APY is pretty crap right now. On Telos, it's pretty good. It's quite good. It's like 17% on Telos.
They tell
how
you
much?
that, but like it's actually like 10. They say it's like 17, but then when you actually like get down to it, it's really like about 10.
Really?
But,
The
yeah,
numbers fudged?
like the staking amount, the amount that you get depends on how many people are in there. So the more people that stake,
Yeah.
the effective rate goes down. And I think when I got in, it was 17, but then like I noticed like it was really 10 somehow. So yeah, like that that's how I learned my Rex lesson about like taking the Telos and then just trading it a few times. And I mostly just trade Telos versus EOS. Like that's my big pair that I trade on new decks. Which it was pretty good at one time, but now it's pretty much just kind of going sideways. So there's not much money to be made, not much coin to be gained.
Douglas, are you active in Telos?
I would say I'm a little bit less active now. I do have plans for an app to be on Telos in the future, so I kind of do stay a little bit. But like originally, like when I was looking for which blockchain to put my on like between Wax and Telos, and I had this big like crisis of like trying to, and I have decided that the Wax Cloud wallet would make it so much more available. So it's a long way to say a little bit.
But they're doing like, did anyone ever use those T-bonds? And they're doing like the EVM. That's kind of what they're trying to do, right?
I remember the T-bonds. I did not buy any of them, so I don't know what's going on with that. Did you buy some?
No, I'm not active at all. I hold some Telos just for speculation purposes, but I have not been keeping up with their community at all.
Yeah, they have some, like, Telos is super cool because of the tech, and like it's also it's relevant to EOS because obviously like it's EOS IO, so whatever Telos develops, you can just port to EOS or any other EOS IO chain. But like they were doing something really cool with location, like Telos location, as well as like a bunch of other stuff. But honestly, man, I haven't looked at it in probably three or 4 months. So I'm not sure like where they're at with any of those cool like tech things that might be relevant to EOS.
Do you mean like proof of location?
Yeah, man, they were doing something. It was called Telos Location. It was on their website. And yeah, the idea was like you have a device, if you have like a cell phone or whatever, it would somehow connect and you could have proof of location, right? So I'm also like involved in like eco projects and things like that. So I thought it would be super cool, like to reward things sort of similar to what Seeds is doing on Telos, and then use that location as sort of like a proof. Yeah, like I planted this tree here or something like that. As well as you could even do like something with, for example, with Eden, if you had the proof of location, you could, sort of in the future, if we have a bunch of people, you could sort of group people by locations. And yeah, so there's
The proof
a
of
lot of
location's
cool things to do with
massive.
that.
Wasn't there a like a hackathon that Black One put on? There was a proof of location company, and they failed. They had to divest. I guess it's really hard.
Yeah, I'd imagine. I guess so. But yeah, it's really cool too. But it's also like it leads, like there's also that like leading you down the sort of scary aspect. obviously you have to sign a transaction to have your location put on the blockchain, but like, I don't know. There's two sides of every coin. So it's just interesting. It's cool to see, where these train stations that our kids will be building, where they'll go.
Yeah, totally.
Yep. Things are happening. Yep. So Taras, any more questions about, we've been just jibber jabbing here. Any thoughts popping up?
Yeah, I had some. So it's very interesting topics actually. But no questions from my side. Actually, I have almost 3 a.m. here, so
you should go to bed.
I should probably leave soon in a few minutes.
Wow. Do you normally stay up this late? Is this like you have to?
No, usually not, but it was very interesting, so I stayed with you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming in. Yeah. I'll message you on Telegram for sure, and then we'll set up an induction meeting and get you in. Sounds like, hey, Douglas, do you want to help witness Taras becoming an Eden member since you work with him a bit?
Maybe. I'm like super busy, man. Like, so I would have to say no. Like, nothing against Taras, but it's just like it's hard for me to get time, and this week is super busy. I'm trying to get beta, the next version of our app out. So yeah, it's kind of rare that I hop on a call, but I just was doing a bunch of coding today, and I was sick of it, so that's why I hopped on here.
All right.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the offer.
Okay. Well, I'll find some witnesses to that. So no problem. We'll get it figured out.
Okay. Yeah. Then thank you. Have a good.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Yeah, man.
Bye. It was a pleasure.
All right.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go too, guys. It's been wonderful, but I'm hungry.
Cool, dude.
So
thanks for
I'll
coming
catch
on.
you guys. I'll catch you. Yeah, nice to meet you too. And if I don't see you guys before face to face, I'll definitely be in the next Eden election.
Yeah, right on.
All right.
Lovejoy, you're back inside.
It's good to see you guys.
We can see you. You can see us.
I'm inside.
Yeah. So you're doing some yard work today.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta keep ahead of that brush. Cutting up the brush.
Do you burn it?
Well, I'm saving it for the winter. It's like to go along with the wood pile. Yeah.
Nice.
Lots of stuff to do. Feel like a squirrel getting ready for the winter.
That's the life, though. I mean, you're in Minnesota. That's how people do it, or at least how they did it. Spend the summer getting ready for the winter, and then you just chill out all winter. Wouldn't be so bad. I think I could probably enjoy that type of lifestyle.
Well,
So,
you have
Chris,
a pretty real winter in where you are.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For this Eos Army idea, my question is, how many people do you think that are in the EOS community that you'd be comfortable with? Okay, I'm not even going to track you, but you're just trusted enough, and I know you do this type of thing. Like, how many people do you think in the EOS community are like that?
I don't know how many. 10.
Right.
Like that I could trust, that I knew that would they actively something they currently already do. A lot of people I trust more than that, I think, but people who do that currently, like Dario, he's on. That's one of them for sure.
Yeah, like Tequila and Wreck Kid and
Data Junkie.
Mm-hmm.
They're very active.
Why not just do like XRP and create some bots? Just have, Twitter bots that act as like Facebook fact checkers for EOS FUD.
I don't know how to do that.
Me neither, but
I've actually tried doing bots on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and through a piece of software, and it did not work, and my account got expelled.
Oh shit.
Worked very poorly.
Did not work because they got billions. Like, they have so much money they're spending to like get bots off their platform. Like, no, it definitely has to be real people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough. We're gonna have to hire people, and we can't trust them. So you have to find some way to track them.
Well,
I gotta think about it more.
Depends what you're gonna like. Maybe what you could do is have like if you had a weekly meeting of all your army folks, and you basically say you have 10 of them or 6. Say it's 6 of them. Everyone gets.
No, it's got to be like 100.
Oh, 100 of them. Wow, that's tough.
That's what it's got to be.
Huh. And you want to incentivize them with EOS to try to do that.
Did I miss the
challenge?
The gist of the Eos Army?
Jesse, give your pitch.
Yeah. So
we're having a mini Eden election. He's going to give his pitch now.
Okay.
So I've been thinking of a concept called the Eos Army, and that's for lack of a better word, other chains have, I believe, pay people to promote the chain and deflect FUD and give out FUD. Especially, I think Ethereum does that.
Yeah.
And we are underrepresented big time. And so I think that we should pay some people to go out there on the Reddit channels and on Twitter and YouTube, and just get in the comments and there's quite a few misconceptions I think about EOS that provide some education towards. So I'd like to manage a team that will do this, and if I get funded, I would pay them to go out and do this, because I think it's really needed for us. But outside of like the data junkies, I can't trust that the majority of the people will actually do the work. So that's kind of the issue I'm trying to work through right now.
Do you think that Eden itself, the membership of Eden, provides kind of like or is it just an insufficient pool, do you think, to draw from right now? Because
exactly. We need it's going to take, call it, I mean, you want to do it for 1 hour, you want to do it for 6 hours a day. I'd like to have that flexibility. And then you just get paid proportional to how much work you've done. But yeah, I don't know.
What about trusted members of the community managing other people that may not be community members? So you're leveraging trust on the first layer. And then,
okay.
And then you're delegating their responsibility to them to make sure that the people that they're trusting to get stuff done is getting done. I don't know if that helps solve the.
Yeah, actually, that's a great idea, Brandon, because, I could probably think of 10 to 15 people that I would trust to do the work. And if those 10 to 15 people, I think it's reasonable, maybe like an army, a team of 5 or 10 that they would trust. Maybe they know 5 or 10 people. Then we're getting to triple digits. I think could be a good start. Yeah.
Yeah, because, it's not like we're not in mercenary territory here with like the general, like the situation you're describing. It's like every other blockchain project has something kind of like this going. The ones that have managed to grab like obscene market shares anyway.
They're everywhere. Yeah.
And at least we can, kind of leverage trust at one level. So we should be, it's fairly defensible like way to like delegate, I think.
I agree. Now, I just need to go around and ask these 10 to 15 people if they're willing to you know, maybe spend more time and get paid to do it, and how much they want to get paid, I guess, is the question.
$1 million.
Yeah, right.
I will be a super shiller for 1 million.
Yeah, how do you
Yeah.
what sort of metrics, or are you able to, can you incentivize people to just, like, can we make it a game? Like anyone that gets, like, accomplishes certain things, like we know that they, even if they fucked off the rest of the time and they did that one thing, we're pretty happy. You know what I mean? Like make it a game for them to like achieve certain outcomes
Okay.
in the social world. I don't know. I'm thinking of ways to gamify it in a way that where it's not just like unaccountable people kind of, well, I spent 4 hours on Reddit. And then
Right. Like,
you
what do
have
you like? Okay, they can
no
post
idea.
they can like take a screenshot of their comment or whatever. I mean, that's kind of like a lot of data to go through to verify.
Yeah, I was just thinking of like a handful of wins. Like they could have dozens of touch points like on social media, but like just kind of hit one thing. And if that was something that like the person that's managing them could go, sweet, you did it. And then they can kind of report back to the community like, my team did this and that and the other thing. And then, you know, we're trusting that person to kind of maintain integrity, like of the people that are working for them beyond that point, essentially. Like just give the people that are participating like something to reach for, I guess, you know.
Each person can show analytics from their new EOS social accounts. What do you mean? That was in the chat.
Oh,
We don't have any EOS social accounts.
not yet.
Oh, or okay.
right,
You know-
like Twitter and what was it, Eddie?
Just you could like gamify account creation, or like after the fact, like there could be a account creation tree where everybody's referring more people, and you create a tree of referrals. And like after the fact, a foundation or Eden can like award one tree or a few trees, just by judging the humanness of that tree. So it's not a guaranteed full win, but you could also kind of gamify it even if you're not the winning tree. It's just not as high of a reward.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, thanks, guys. I definitely have some things to think about. Thanks for the advice.
That's interesting. Yeah, it gets heady really fast. It's like all the game theory stuff and accountability and everything. But I like the idea. Yeah, Eos Army for sure needs to, something like that needs to exist. I think.
Yeah, I think just starting as simple as what you first said, leveraging the trust with our trusted community members, giving them a budget, and then letting them decide how to allocate that budget. If they want to recruit, if they just want to do it themselves. I think that's maybe like the first step on this.
Yeah, sounds good. So that's gonna be your pitch in the upcoming election. Awesome.
Yes.
Cool. Love it.
Getting refined. We're refining the pitch.
So we might have a budget this next one. It'll be interesting to see how that changes the game.
Yep.
Be interesting.
Waxy says he uses an app called Treeverse to track Twitter account content flow.
I will check that out. Thank you.
And there's Bot Essential. Make sure we don't trigger a bot.
Treeverse. Is it a paid app, Waxa? All right.
Free. Chrome add-on.
All right, I'll check it out. Thank you.
It'll be interesting, especially when the foundation gets funded, and I say when, not if. They will be doing some major marketing. Like they'll be going out to some PR firms and actually doing some more substantial marketing pushes.
Yeah, we need the whole toolbox. That's
So
certainly one of the tools. Yeah.
It'll be useful. Oh yeah. Well,
Chris, you've
You guys
done
want to
your
call it?
share of yard work for the day too.
I mean, I drove around in a tractor. It wasn't so bad, but I got most of that road done. All the way down to the
Nice.
bottom. I only tipped over almost once. It gets sketchy.
Yeah.
And just because the dirt, right? It's not compacted, so I get a little aggressive on how fast I want to make the road. So I start going too far forward when it's the wheels have nowhere to go, but push the dirt off and it starts tipping. But
Well, I'm glad you haven't crushed yourself yet.
correct. I'm equally glad. It does cross my mind. Certainly, it's crossed my mind that I could fall to my doom. As long as I'm always like, as I'm driving it, I'm thinking of where my jump off escape point would be.
Yeah, totally.
And you're like thinking in your head your ninja jump.
Yeah, may you always have a good ninja jump.
I don't know how quick you can actually. I think things tip over and happen pretty fast.
Yeah, they do.
Pretty quick response.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You're made of steel. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Your children will rush up and like lift up the tractor with superhuman strength.
Yeah, no.
So Wax, if you're still here, did you see the what Space Jam did with that NFT release? So you had to sign up with an account on their website and then retweet their tweet. So they were able to track the retweets, and then you got a free NFT for doing that. So I'm not sure if a developer like coded that or if that was from, so it's possible. I'm just not sure how they did it. It's built into what? I've seen analytics on Twitter. It doesn't give you a per person engagement, like on a retweet per person. All right, maybe I don't know. So that's on Twitter analytics.
I suppose we should read this because these might not show up anyone who's bothering to
watch
yes, all this.
Sorry.
So he's saying, no, it's built in. So it's analytics on Twitter. Then pretty much you can look at retweets. Then each person gets a DM. The last part is manual. So you can piece together where those words all fit into the previous words.
Sorry, I forgot.
No, I'm the moderator. It's my job. I just made it more fun.
Right.
And harder to follow.
It's good. It's like a logic puzzle now. It's like, go back and figure that out.
Right.
There's some sort of
probably be done.
Deep Twitter wisdom there somewhere.
The most epic thing would be everyone in EOS. If you retweet a post or like a post, you just get paid automatically in EOS. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be pretty baller. Definitely. As long as you can
get expensive fast.
Well, like unique accounts have to be figured out, but that can be sorted out fairly within a margin of error. That's probably acceptable.
Yeah, right. No way.
You just do Eden members,
Well, that's what I'm saying is like,
but we don't have the time.
Exactly. But
the time.
I mean, everybody could run through a list at the end of their day and just click 100 things, but that's not real organic.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm signing off. Thank you for the feedback, and talk to you guys later.
Later.
Yep. Good ideas.
Time is relative to anyone. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck to us all.
We need it. We need it. I don't think I'll be able to get my board meeting notes out today. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Some big things coming from the old Eden. No, actually, yeah, nothing big. Just an update from Ami and Josh, myself. Meaningful updates, but short. It was a short little video, and I still have to edit my Russell Brand thing. I'm so apprehensive to do stuff like that. Do you get that when you're doing your blocks populi videos where you record it and then you're just like kind of nervous to see yourself?
Oh yeah, definitely. I just like. Well, it's good though. You see all your ticks, and then you can kind of like try and focus on not doing them again, whatever they are. But that gets a little.
That's true.
It's a little maddening. I believe it or not, once upon a time I went to school for radio broadcasting, radio and television broadcasting, and that's all we did. Is record stuff and then listen to ourselves and like, oh, gross. I need to fix that. I need to I need to fix that.
It's a humbling moment, I guess, eh?
Yeah. And then you add the face and it becomes even more problematic.
The facial expression.
What's your least favorite tick so far that you've noticed, Chris?
I say every so often and awesome. I think in the last video I said awesome every single in between question. Awesome. Yeah. Okay, awesome.
Well, it's because you're thinking about like what else you need to do with the stream and trying to listen to the person, and have the conversation. And when then there's a silent pause and you're like, cool. I say cool.
I need to feel that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like acknowledgement. Oh shit, I need to be more
I need another
nuanced.
Acknowledgement term.
Yeah, let me get some on rotation. My worst tick so far is when I think, I look up. And then for a while, like people are just looking at me, like look at the ceiling while I talk. And I watched back on some of my interviews and I'm like, oh no, it's just like, what's he looking at up there?
That's
just
pretty
weird.
Common though. A lot of people do that, don't they?
Not on video though. You can't get away with it on video. You can do it in a room with your friends because it's totally like, then you're in body language world. But if you're a talking head and you're just like looking at the ceiling for too long, it starts to look pretty weird,
So you got to do short. That's too funny. Okay, I've seen myself do that. That's another one that I've noticed. I'll look up, but it hasn't been too drawn out where I feel like I'm being awkward.
It's hard because we all have like places we look when we think about different things. So
yeah,
it's hard to just be like staring at a camera lens.
It is weird. It is weird talking to a camera lens like you're talking to a human. It doesn't feel like it feels so weird.
Well, it's better that there are other people on the other side. If you were just like, I have a way harder time recording when it's just me and a camera, and I'm supposed to like deliver a monologue or something, and then go back later and try to look at what I've said to like no audience at all, some future audience. Like that's hard for me.
Yeah.
Do better in groups.
Yeah.
You do a pretty good job though with that. You got your whole, I don't know if are you using a teleprompter or you have some sort of a.
Thank you. I have attempted multiple things. I've tried just no teleprompter, just winging it. I've tried a teleprompter, but then I'm noticing you can really see my eyeballs going. Like it's like, where do you set up the camera and shit, right? Like I have like a digital SLR, so I've got like a nice Canon camera. So I set it up just above my monitor. So then I put the teleprompter just below, so I'm kind of looking at the camera. But then I'm not far enough away. So then I'm still, my eyeballs are still doing that. It looks weird. But then if you try to one take it, you fuck it up too many times. At least it's just hard to get it good. Then you have to edit way longer. I don't know. I'm just figuring the shit out as I go, man. Anything you've seen is all I've ever done. So this is how experienced I am. I'm only a few months in.
Yeah, you're doing good.
Well, thanks.
It's hard. The dark arts arts of
it's
video
no joke.
editing.
Anybody thinks it's this. It's not that easy.
And then you get into like actual film production where you're dealing with like a scene and actors and a set and audio and video,
Can't
and then you have to
even
like
imagine.
do multiple takes of that.
Yeah, I can imagine. And now that I've done this basic shit, I can see how complex that can be. And if you're a really meticulous director who definitely has like a vision, it would be extra difficult to get a bunch of moving part pieces to then manifest into your vision. That would be tricky. Yeah. But I think it's just for me personally, it's just the self-aware, like music I find is harder. Like I've let and anyone else on here, I wrote an Eden song and I actually did lyrics for it. Yes, 2 days ago or 3 days ago, whatever it was. So my wife thinks they're too cheesy though. She thinks I've rhymed too much. I need to reduce the rhymes and try to be more like Elliott Smith. Yeah, okay.
Elliott Smith.
Do you know that? Do you know him?
Yeah, I know Elliott Smith. That's a really funny like person to aspire to sound like on
Lyrically,
something like this.
I mean, he's got great lyrics. I see.
True.
For me, I don't pay attention to lyrics. I never have ever. Music to me has
Really?
always been vocal melody. Like I like to
Wow.
sing songs, but I can give a shit about what the words are. Like it's the guitar, the drums, the bass, the vocal melody, the tone, like the vocal
wild.
tone and harmony, all super. Like I've got a keen ear for all that, and I'm good at like playing music by ear, and like I don't need to like read it all that. But lyrics, I forget them all. I have a songbook because I can't remember any lyrics because they're just I could care less. I just don't care about lyrics, which is so I guess
Wow.
it's kind of abnormal, but
Well, it's very opposite me. I mean, I listen to the musical part too, but I definitely know all the words to all the songs that I like, it's a
it's more
thing.
meaningful. You get meaning out of the words, so the song has more. You get meaning.
That's the
into
idea,
what the
Chris.
story is. But this is where the idea to me doesn't sync. I get more emotion for me is like the tone
The sound.
and like
Yeah.
the sound and like
Mhm.
just resin. Like singing is all about just the not. It's just making the sound is what's therapeutic to me, not the whatever. I could be speaking Swahili. It wouldn't matter to me at all. It would still sound. It would still feel good.
And then you get to overlay your own meaning over the lyrics. It's like I'm on more Chris's boat myself as far as
Yeah. I'm not alone on this one.
No, not at all.
Well, it depends on the setting.
But-
If you're, like definitely
And
sometimes.
genre.
Mhm.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I don't always want to hear lyrics or lyrics that I understand, but I do geek out on lyrics. I really enjoy actually listening to hip hop and trying to figure out all the lyrics to tracks in it. Sometimes it takes so many listens.
So
to-
fast.
Yeah, fast and
And then you get some of that mumble rap. What is he saying?
I
I haven't really heard it.
I don't know
Made
if I-
fun of a lot.
Mm.
I don't follow hip hop. If music doesn't have a guitar in it, that's usually my kind of distinguishing.
What
line.
about-
if there's no guitar, then I'm really not into it.
What about Eddie Vedder, Pearl Jam?
There's guitar in that.
Yeah, but he's all like, I got to do my best, Eddie Vedder now. Like-
Doing any better.
Oh, it's
He
like,
sounds normal. He says words clearly.
what do you think was her daddy? No, no,
Yeah. No.
Why are you sitting home alone, age 13? No, it's like they call it yarling. He's a yarler.
Nah.
Or like,
whatever. It's legible.
Listen to the track Yellow Ledbetter, and like try to understand the lyrics. Yellow Ledbetter.
Yeah, I know.
I can't do it.
I know a lot. I don't like that song particularly, but I like a lot of Pearl Jam songs. Like when I play my acoustic, I know
Yeah.
that was one of the. I know a good few dozen of their tunes that I can play.
Cool.
It's good campfire-ish.
Oh, I mean, I'm not dissing
never-
Pearl Jam. I grew up with Pearl Jam. I just
Funny.
make
I
fun of
never
Eddie
thought
Vedder.
I never really thought of him being a weird singer. I'm gonna have to listen now, and you probably ruined him for me because now whenever I hear him, I'm like, oh, yeah, he does sound kind of all garbled up.
He's a yarler. It's a thing. I learned later. Yarling.
Yarler.
Yarling is
At least
a
he's not
vocal.
a yodeler.
No, it's like people that like chew the words all up and like mash them together in one long, the opposite of
Interesting.
Bob Dylan, basically. Well, maybe Bob Dylan was a little bit of a yarler too. Yeah, maybe.
I didn't realize you were such a vocal critique. I'm gonna have to do a much better job on the next version I sent you because that was fresh. I just woke up and then I I sang that. So that's the worst time to sing, first thing in the morning.
No, that was
By
great.
far.
Well, sometimes you have a great voice in the morning, you know, you get that low
I don't.
voice, but you need a high register for that song you're singing.
I traditionally
So-
sing higher, so for me it's yeah. I like to go there.
I say you gotta listen to your sweetie and try to like jazz up the lyrics a little bit, but mostly just play it a lot with, and then subject people to it so that you know you can get a little
Subject.
Well,
It sounds like torture.
yeah.
Listen to my song.
Subject them to your music. No, I mean share it with them.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I suppose I should. I'm gonna fix the lyrics a bit up because I'm not. There are too rhymey, too basic. Some of them are good. The vocal melody I'm happy with, and the guitar. I think all that's fine. I just need
The
to
thing
tweak.
The thing that threw me off the most lyrically was the thee and thou or
Oh yeah,
whatever
okay.
you pulled out.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was just like,
Lose those. Okay, I can.
well,
lose
it
those.
just felt
Well, because it
like
rhymed. So this I gotta
it,
kill the
yeah,
rhymes. The and B, right? I'm on like a
something
grade
like
six lyricist level here. This is where I'm at. That's why I asked you to write them for me. I'll sing it and play it. You just write the lyrics. And I got
well,
tired of waiting. I'll just
yeah.
do it. I liked my
Well,
line
you know,
about the more equal animals. Do you really pick the peak? Like that's meant to be like you pick the top of the hierarchy and then stop living among the meek. I know, pretty rhymey. Maybe I could lose meek and peak. And those at the top need to go. We need more equal animals. I thought that sounded good together. But
yeah, you got pretty punchy at that point.
Yeah, all right.
I was
So,
like, damn, he's really throwing down now.
I was trying to get into the because eventually this could be like the anthem. This could be the Eden anthem, right?
Like Canadian Eden anthem until
Yeah.
we have a
Where there's
You're
a
like the Go
Where
ahead.
there's a grassroots movement of people who want to like overthrow the government with an Eden process. They're going to be
Yeah.
singing these songs. We need more
This'll
equal
be-
animals. More equal
this'll be
animals.
like- Yeah, you'll be like the OG anthem song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe Nickelback-esque lyrics are good because they're basic and catchy, which is basically what I've written. I've written Nickelback quality lyrics.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
my wife told me. Oh, flattering like.
well, it's got more potential than Nickelback. So focus on that. You've got way more going for you than
Appreciate
Nickelback.
Although he's fairly wealthy. Chad Kroeger,
Yeah,
he may look like a goat, but rich dude.
I don't know how they got
Canadian.
Canadian?
Yeah,
No.
he's Canadian from Hanna, Alberta. They're from Hanna, Alberta.
It's fucked
Small
up.
town. Yeah. I like your pants around your feet. I mean, lyrical genius.
Oh shit. Yeah, you can do better. The high
Yeah.
the high water mark isn't it's so difficult to reach.
No. Okay. Well, no. Yeah. Anyway, I'll work on it. I figure I need to get this out before the next election, though. That's my
Really?
personal-
All
my
right, that's your
personal
timeline.
Yeah.
All right.
Just see if I can get it done by then.
Cool. Yeah. We can
Totally off topic. If anything related to
no, this is
Ontario,
great though.
Wax and Eddie, you probably want to listen to. We've rambled into just having a call that's recorded for anyone else to listen to later.
Don't listen to this part. We should have told them like
No one gets
15
this far.
minutes ago.
I can't imagine very few people would ever listen to 2.5 hours plus of a.
And if they do, this is they deserve it. Either whether for good or bad.
This is your chance to get to know us as real people.
Mhm.
Real people.
I jumped in late, so I kind of felt like hanging out for the after party, but I should probably sign off too.
I'd like to see Dan and Eve do some of these. Just shooting the breeze on a recording.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Getting Dan to shoot the breeze would be. I sent him the link to this, but I don't know if he saw it. I was like trying to instigate tonight. When somebody asked when the next fireside chat was going to be,
Oh,
I
did you?
like
I didn't see it.
instantly messaged Dan, and I was like, "Fireside chat? When's the next fireside chat?"
Come on.
And then I sent him. I
Do
said,
it right
"They're
now.
asked." I was like, "They're asking about they're asking about it and this," and I sent the link to the Zoom that we're in now.
Yeah.
An hour ago or an hour and a half ago now. So Oh, Dan.
It's an efficient way to do a fireside chat. Just hop on a prearranged call that happens frequently and just hang around for a bit.
Yeah, we should make sure he knows. He's like cognizant of office hours and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, just in case you want to drop in.
Okay, we lost Dario. I think yeah, I'll hop off here. It's 8:20.
Cool, man.
I should go spend some time with my own family.
Yeah.
Not my digital family.
All right, later, digital family.
Okay, see you later. See you, Eddie.
Peace.
See you, Waxa. Later. See you, Lovejoy. Oh, hey, Lovejoy. Did you figure out your thing for tomorrow?
Well, no, but we should probably talk about that off camera.
Yeah. Okay.
Really briefly. All right.
All right. Well, here. Let me just. Oh, I can stop recording, but now it's just me and you, Eddie. All right. Okay. See you, dude.